And I think, you know, dark thoughts come into your head of like, yo, this is like, I don't want to be here on earth anymore.
Did you think about taking your own life?
Yeah, 100%.
To what extent is it still frozen in your memory, you and your brother being driven off by your dad to the airport as you're going to spend the summer in LA?
So Logan drove to LA because he had a parrot and he couldn't take the parrot on the plane. And I had to finish my junior year of high school. So I finished my finals test and I flew to LA. Since I wasn't 18 yet, my parents were like, you can only go for 3 months. And so I was supposed to be going for the summer, but I knew that wasn't gonna happen. I was gonna convince them to let me
even
stay.
then, even from the outset, you knew you weren't going back to school and you were staying in LA.
Yeah, and that only increased 3 days after I got to LA and was like, this is the most fun I've ever had in my life. This is the greatest city in the world.
A video a day for 800 straight days. How much of that was fun?
It had its ups and downs, but I think by halfway through, it was more work, and it wasn't really something I was passionate about. You could just see like, oh, this kid is like just doing this because it's fueling his brand and his page and his following and his revenue.
And the pressure to create content you felt started to cause you to drink, right?
It was just a messy cycle because when I didn't want to do something, I was like, oh, I'll like smoke weed or get drunk to do this video because that'll make it more fun. But then all of a sudden, you know, you're developing these like bad habits. That's where it's different for me because I had to do it every single day.
At what point was it the worst?
There was a point where everything went downhill for like the Paul brothers. It was after my brother's Japan incident where no one wanted to work with us. Every brand that I was affiliated with dropped me. And I wasn't even the one who filmed the video, right? It was just by way of association because my brother filmed in the suicide forest. My life was pretty much ruined. YouTube demonetized me. Every brand dropped me. I had like a $10 million deal with Target that was gonna go live like 7 days from that. They dropped me. Everything just went downhill. And
you're thinking what at the time?
What the am I gonna do? Because I never saw this happening, and it happened overnight.
And you said it was starting to create a kid who was just like, I mean, to be blunt, it's like, why do you see so many stars kill themselves?
Yeah.
Explain that.
I'm sitting there 21, I lose basically all my income because of something my brother did. I'm blacklisted, I'm not in the community anymore. They bring up everything that I did wrong, they sort of lumped it all in together. Like, look at these Paul brothers and how bad they are. We got canceled everywhere. And so I just saw everything in my life was just falling apart. And the only thing that made me forget it was drinking, 100%, and smoking weed. That only makes it worse, right? Because you're using a crutch to get by, and then you know you sort of wake up one day and I'm in this empty house with everything that I had built basically stripped away from me, and people hated me. I thought my own friends who I thought I would be with know forever, they were gone. And I was like, what's the purpose of my life? This sucks, this is terrible, I wanna run away. And I think, you know, dark thoughts come into your head of like, yo, this is like, I don't wanna be here on earth anymore.
Did you think about taking your own life?
Yeah, 100%.
How did you get through it?
I think at the time I was just looking for hope. And so I just like started going to like church. I would just like start talking to adults who would have any sort of advice. Just like talking to a therapist. I was just like, this is exactly what everyone wants. You know, the media wants to see me fail. And I'm not gonna give them what they want. And I just made the decision to like wake up every day, change my attitude really. And I just started telling myself every single day when I woke up in my bed, I would sit there and just be like, I'm happy. I'm gonna be happier next week than I am this week. I would just start telling myself these things. And it helped, and I just made that decision to like not give up.
When I was talking to your mom, she said it wasn't until you were kind of on the other side of it that she really had any idea what you were going through.
Yeah, I was embarrassed, you know?
Why?
Even now, it's like, this is like really the first time I've like talked about it, honestly. I just took on the pain by myself, because I just felt embarrassed to ask for help. And I didn't want, like I wanted to seem tough, right? Because I was Jake Paul and everything. The outside looking in, it's like, this kid has a perfect life. He has the cars, he's in LA, he's living his life, you know, he's famous, he's having fun. So on the outside looking in, I didn't want to look weak to anybody, including my closest friends. I didn't want anyone to know. I didn't want to cry for help. I wanted to make it through it by myself, or with the help of, you know, sometimes I would talk to the occasional person who was outside my circle that I could trust.
You said it took a while to realize that it's not the money or the cars and the girls that make you happy, but figuring out a balance.
It was going through that, really, because I had everything, right? In a sense. Like I accomplished what I set out to accomplish. And then I wasn't fulfilled at all. And I was like, I wish I was back in Ohio landscaping for $10 an hour, because I was happier then than I was as a 21-year-old with, you know, the houses, the cars, the parties, the lifestyle. It's all fake, and it's just a dead end, honestly.